Hello everybody, this is Excalibur of Excalibur Zone Gaming, and I bring another Friday night Magic report, but it's actually game day. It's for game day. I went to Richmond Comix on Saturday, and we went ahead and played a lot of Magic in the form of EDH, and then following that was game day, standard tournament. So here we've got my Bruna deck, which we've seen before. Let me just go ahead and bring up the graphics. It's going to take a few seconds while it does that. And Bruna's over here in the 6 casters right here. So go ahead and take a look at the deck tech. I'll link that down in the description. But pretty much I went in with Bruna. I went up against Jess, who's running a Rafik of the Many deck. Rob, who's running Sharoom the Hegemon. And Matt, who's running Muzio deck. Now, the fun thing was I had previously beaten Matt in an EDH tournament, and he was not too happy with me and gunned for me the entire time, which is fine. That all's fair in tournaments and everything. And he started hitting me with a Blightsteel Colossus, and I couldn't stop it. But right after his turn, before he got the killing blow on me the next turn, Rob went off with a Sharoom and a Disciple of the Vault, and just copied Sharoom with Disciple, which caused Sharoom to go to the graveyard, and then the Enter the Battlefield trigger went off on Disciple of the Vault, and then Sharoom came on. I'll go ahead and I'll pull that up. It was kind of fun. So we'll pull up these. We'll look up each one. So Rafik of the Many. This is Rafik, and he has Exalted. And whenever creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn, which is awesome because it's white-blue. I could put Bruna in there, and it's green-white. I could put Sigarda in there as well. So Rafik of the Many is a really, really good legend. With the exalted ability. That was Jess's. And here is Muzio, Visionary Architect. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the highest converted mana cost amongst artifacts you control. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And this is a really good artifact character. I think he was looking, he looked for an artifact that destroyed creatures with flying and gave creatures flying, and I think he's also looking for Memnarch to take control of stuff. But it was all good. I had a pretty fun time trying to figure out how to stop Matt from doing anything. And then Rob's, here's his Sharoom the Hegemon. When Sharoom the Hegemon enters the battlefield, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And Sharoom the Hegemon is an artifact. So if you throw in the Disciple of the Vault, I think it is. Yep, Disciple of the Vault. This does damage to you right there. I forget what the actual artifact was, but it was an artifact that copies other artifacts, I believe. And whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. So with the infinite triggers of Sharoom going off and the copy of Sharoom coming back and so on and so forth, back and forth, back and forth, Disciple of the Vault can get rid of everybody's life, and that's pretty much what happened with that. That was a really fun match, and I didn't feel hurried because I knew I was not going to survive against Matt that time. Once bitten, twice shy. You know how that is. So, well, that was my EDH one. That was won by Rob. Congratulations, Rob, for your win. And he went on to the big boy table. I'm not sure how far along he got there. Well, my game day deck, and I'm going to actually close this tab. My game day deck is a modified version of my Friday Night Magic one, where I have a lot of heroic, and I actually have a lot of these guys. I've got 4 of these guys in there. Let me just show you the the card list real quick. So here we are. We've got one Battle Priest, which gives lifelink. And I'll bring up the card view. Nope, that's not it. That is... We can hide this out of the way. So here we go. Here's the Battle Priest. Each creature you control gets with a +1/+1 has lifelink. That's awesome. And I wanted to make sure I could get the flight evasion in. So each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has flying. The Bond-Kin gives first strike to +1/+1 creatures, which doesn't matter with Fabled Heroes. Ajani's Presence allows me to multi-target and give +1/+1 and indestructibility, which was good. Brave the Sands actually came out and was a huge boon. Setting up a vigilant line against your opponent is not a good thing for your opponent, unless they're bringing the Ashen Rider in onto the battlefield, off the battlefield, in the battlefield, off the battlefield, over and over and over and over again. Brimaz didn't see any play at all during the game day. Not a single sighting of him. Neither was the Dawnbringer Charioteers. So, it was just funny. The Eidolon showed up more than once, and Fabled Hero, I've got 4 in there. He, of course, showed up several times, and he showed up while I had my Preeminent Captain out, beating down on people. So Fabled Hero came out like 2 or 3 times fighting with Preeminent Captain. Favored Hoplite came out a couple of times. Feat of Resistance was a godsend. I think I pulled out the Dawnbringer and one of the Brimaz and put in 2 of the feats from my sideboard. And this thing is a beast. It's a beast. It really allowed me to pump up my Fabled Heroes and get them really going in for a lot of damage and surviving the the many heroes' downfalls I ran up against. Glimpse of the Sun God, I got that to go off a couple of times, tapping my Phalanx Leaders, which are awesome with this little setup here with these guys. God's Willing, of course, just like Feat of Resistance. I should run with full 4 God's Willing, full 4 Feat of Resistance, because then my guys would be unstoppable. Godsend is a godsend. And this is the awesome thing. It doesn't target. Just imagine. It doesn't target at all. So when I attack with something and they block with pro-white stuff like Stormbreath Dragon, which happened, I get to exile that Stormbreath Dragon without having to worry about its protection because it doesn't target. So he was expecting that he could block and get past the damage because he had pro-white, but then he didn't really understand what Godsend does, and then he just sat there a little bit stunned because he couldn't do any Stormbreath Dragons, and then I blocked with blocked a Courser of Crewfix and took out his Courser of Crewfix, and he was like, okay. That was really, really good. The High Sentinels of Arashin. With the amount of heroic and counters that I'm throwing on these things, this card just rocked. I actually sideboarded in one of these guys, so I had 3 in the deck at one point. I need to get a full play set because these guys with heroic are off the hook. Mass Calcify won me a game because I got rid of all the non-white creatures and his white creatures were tapped and I killed. It was great. I think his white creatures were tapped, or either I had flying and he couldn't block, but I was able to get rid of guy's creatures. Nykthos, it's mono white. Use Nykthos. It's a no-brainer. Obelisk of Urd came out, and that became a pain for a lot of people. Phalanx Leader, double hitting these guys and putting +2/+2 on everything was amazing. And especially if you attack with your Preeminent Captain and put Phalanx Leaders out, and then you hit the Phalanx Leader, because then you don't have to tap to cast these things. You get the Preeminent Captain out on turn 3 and attack on turn 4, or if you're lucky, get him out on turn 2 and attack on turn 3. But you have 2 to 3 land and able to cast your Feat of Resistance and God's Willing, and there's nothing the guy can do against you. Now, there was some timing issues I had with Heroic and all that, but I've got that all ironed out because of the way everything was laid out. The guy responded to my my Feat of Resistance with a Hero's Downfall or a burn spell or something like that. So he was able to burn the guy off before the +1/+1 counter went on it. Oh well. Preeminent Captain is crazy, scary good. You attack with him, you put out a Fabled Hero, and you do 6 points of damage on turn 4. That's cool, but then you start hitting your guys with your targeting spells on that same turn. So you attack with this guy, put down your Fabled Hero, and hit him with a Feat of Resistance. So all of a sudden your Fabled Hero becomes a 4/4 double striker instead of a 2/2 double striker, and you're doing 10 points of damage on turn 4 instead of 6. So it adds quite a bit there. It's really sweet because you get a +1 from targeting the Fabled Hero, and then a +1 from the Feat of Resistance. You get +1/+1 counter, and then you make him protection from the color of your choice. So he can't be burned off, he can't be blocked, that kind of stuff. It really works well. So in my sideboard, I have an Aegis of the Gods to get rid of those things like Thoughtseize and stuff, if you can get them out before the Thoughtseize is hit. Another Ainok Bond-Kin, Battle Mastery, and 4 Heroes of Iroas are in the sideboard, just in case I want to bring them in. An extra Brave the Sands, 2 Deicides in case they have gods, 2 more Feats of Resistance, an additional Godsend, and there's my High Sentinels, and then 2 Revoke Existence, because if they get out, exile target artifact or enchantment. So say they get out a Darksteel Citadel, and then they throw Ensoul Artifact on it. There's not much you can do about it unless you can exile it, and it's an artifact land, so that gets rid of 1, a mana source, and 2, a 5/5 indestructible creature, which a 4-turn clock is a really big thing. So you can pretty much see the cards. You've seen them in the previous one. I pulled out a lot of the expensive ones, and the Obelisk of Urd is really awesome when you've got all these little 1/1 guys out there. You get Brimaz going quite a bit, and then you've got these cats that can help cast that thing. And then all of a sudden your Fabled Hero, which by this time is usually going to have like 1 or 2 counters on him, is suddenly from a 2/2 to a 4/4 to a 6/6, doing 12 damage a turn. And then you throw Eidolon of Countless Battles on the dude, and he's off the hook. So that's why I have that in there. So I'm probably going to make sure that I have 4 total Favored Hoplites, 4 total Phalanx Leaders, and 4 Fabled Heroes, and then have the support cards of the Ainok stuff, the Abzan stuff, sorry, and the Ainok Bond-Kin, and the Abzan Battle Priest, and of course the Preeminent Captains. Those are going to be the #1 cards that I have to have in the deck to make it stronger. Brimaz is good, but in this case, these guys plus this, and this, because he's already got first strike damage, but giving these guys first strike, and not to mention with your High Sentinels, you give any creature you have a +1/+1 counter for 4, but Outlast 1, Outlast 2, and Outlast 1, you get +1/+1 counters on them for free. If you want to get your Preeminent Captains, there you go. So Preeminent Captain plus all these, except for that, and these, and that. All heroes. All soldiers, sorry. Then this is a soldier. Pretty much even Brimaz is a soldier. So attacking and then putting Brimaz out, you don't get the kitty, but you get a 3/4 attacker for free on turn 4. That's actually pretty good. And with this guy, if you've got a couple of the 1s and 2s out and you throw it on a Fabled Hero, then it's over. It's done with. And that's what I found out. So my matches went, I went up against Derek, who was running green-red. He's the one that I was exiling his Stormbreath Dragons. We did a 2-1. I didn't sideboard. Match 2 went to Eric, and traditionally I lose to Eric 0-2 every single time I've played him. Every single time. This time it was 1-1-1. I drew. And that's a testament to this deck. If I got rid of some of the slower cards like Brimaz and put in more of the stronger cards like more Favored Hoplites and made sure I had 4 Phalanx Leaders and Fabled Heroes, get those fast cards out, and then make sure I have a full suite of protection, then I could possibly beat Eric. But he was running green, black, and white, which I think is Sultai. I think that's right. Let me just do a search for Sultai banner. Is it Sultai? Yeah, so, no, that's blue. Let's see here. Jeskai? Okay. Abzan? White, black, and green. Yep, he was running Abzan colors. And then Shannon was running Sultai, I think it is. Black, green. Nope. She was running green, red, and white. Green, red, and blue. Sorry. So green, red, and blue. Green, red, and blue. I am unsure what green, red, and blue are. Maybe that is Jeskai? Nope. Mardu. And I forget the other one. So I'm just going to skip it. But I won against her 2-0. So match 3, I was poised to hit top 8 without issue. And then there was a family emergency and I had to drop. So unhappy about leaving the tournament, but I had to be the daddy and husband and get home. And there you have it. So maybe next time, and I'm going to have to start making sure the schedule is written down on paper calendar so that everybody's aware of where things are and what goes on and what's where and everything. But after that, we will see what happens. So, Pod 1 loss, and possible, well, definitely top 8. There were 2 people who were in top 8 that were 2-2, so I would have definitely hit top 8. With the record I had. So I don't know if I would have come close to getting second place or anything like that or hitting top 4, but there was a good chance. And we'll find out next time. This next Friday, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing board games, role-playing, or Magic. I'll find out. And I will put up a report, Friday Night Magic report, then as well. So until next time, enjoy playing games. Go to your local gaming store and play some FNM. Enjoy yourself. View the game days, have fun, and try out Commander. You might actually enjoy it. Please like, favorite, and subscribe because it really helps me to know that people are watching my stuff and that the stuff I'm putting out is what you're looking for. Also, if you could take the time to visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/ExcaliburZone, that would be awesome because if you become a supporter, you're not only supporting me, you're actually supporting a bunch of other people because half of the net I get from Patreon goes to charity. That's 1/2 of all proceeds after fees and taxes have been removed. So there's that. Help me and help others. I think that's a really good thing. As always, this is Excalibur, and I